It's 2 a.m. You're finally drifting off. And then, out of nowhere, your brain plays it. That thing you said, that moment you'd give anything to undo. You physically cringe, alone, in the dark. It happened years ago. Nobody else is thinking about it. So why is your brain, right now, forcing you to watch it again? You tell yourself your brain is just being cruel, that you can't let things go, that something's wrong with you. And it's never the good memories, is it? Never that time you were kind or funny or brilliant. No, your brain skips all of those. It reaches past 1,000 good memories, finds the single most humiliating 5 seconds of your life, and hits play in high definition, and you actually react. You wince, you screw your eyes shut, maybe you whisper, ugh, out loud to an empty room, as if that could somehow make it stop. It's the wave at someone who wasn't waving back, the name you forgot mid-sentence, the joke that landed in total silence, always the small, humiliating ones, and always at night, never at 2 in the afternoon when you're busy, always at 2 in the morning when it's quiet. That timing isn't random. It's the biggest clue of all, because whatever is happening here, it clearly isn't your brain glitching. Something is choosing these exact moments at these exact hours on purpose. Here's what's really happening. To your brain, being embarrassed isn't a minor thing. For almost all of human history, your survival depended on your place in the group. Get laughed at, rejected, cast out, and you were in real danger. So your brain learned to treat social mistakes as threats, serious ones. To your nervous system, the memory of being laughed at can sting almost as sharply as the moment it happened. The same flush of heat, the same drop in your stomach years later. And when something gets flagged as a threat, your brain does what it always does. It replays it over and over, not to torture you, to study the tape. It's running an error review, trying to work out what went wrong so it never happens again. That cringe you feel, that's the alarm making sure you remember the lesson. The problem is, your brain never tells you the review is finished. There's no closing bell, no lesson learned, you can stop now. So it just keeps playing the tape. But why does it wait until night? Because during the day, your mind is full. Tasks, noise, people, your phone. There's no room for old ghosts. But at night, when everything finally goes quiet and still, your mind starts to wander, and a wandering mind drifts straight toward whatever's unfinished, the unresolved, the unhealed. Psychologists have a name for this quiet, unfocused state. It's when the mind stops working on the outside world and turns inward, and inward is exactly where all your unfinished business is stored. There's a second reason. During the day, part of your brain works hard to keep intrusive thoughts out. But at night, that guard is exhausted and off duty, so the memories your daytime mind keeps locked away finally slip through the door, which is why they ambush you exactly when you're most defenseless. And notice which ones come back. Never the neutral memories, the ones soaked in shame, because your brain weights emotional memories, especially painful, embarrassing ones, far heavier than ordinary ones. Shame is sticky. It's built to be, so you never forget the lesson, which is exactly why these tiny moments feel impossible to shake. You can forget 100 ordinary evenings, but the one where you said the wrong name is burned in forever. That's not a flaw in your memory. That's the feature working exactly as designed. And here's what changes everything. Your brain isn't replaying your worst moments to punish you. It's replaying them to protect you, trying to keep you from ever being embarrassed, ever rejected, ever cast out again. Every cringe is your brain caring desperately about being accepted. The pain is just love for belonging pointed in the wrong direction. Think about that. The thing keeping you awake isn't self-hatred. It's a clumsy, overprotective kind of self-love. But here's the cool twist. The reason it keeps replaying is that the case never gets closed. It stays open forever. And the cruelest part? You are the only person still in that room. That thing you'd give anything to undo. Everyone else forgot it the very same day. You're replaying alone, a scene no one else even remembers being in. They walked out, went home, and got on with their lives. You're the only one who kept the theater open, replaying the same scene to an audience of empty chairs, night after night. And this is where it quietly hurts you. Every time you replay the memory, you don't weaken it, you strengthen it. You trace the groove a little deeper, make it a little easier to surface next time. Without meaning to, you're rehearsing your own shame until you know it by heart. It's like scratching an itch that only itches more the harder you scratch. Every replay promising relief and delivering the opposite. There's a bigger cost. When you replay your worst 5 seconds enough times, you start to believe they're who you are. You take one bad moment and quietly let it define a whole person. You'd never judge a friend by their most awkward second, but you'll happily sentence yourself with it. One awkward moment becomes a life sentence, served nightly with no parole. And the whole time, you assume everyone else remembers. You walk around certain they're all still thinking about it. But they're not. They're lying awake at 2 a.m. too, replaying their own reels, convinced you remember theirs. Everyone is the star of a show nobody else is watching, which means the humiliation you've carried for years has been almost entirely yours to begin with. The trial, the verdict, the sentence, all of it happening inside a single head. Yours. So what do you do at 2 a.m. when it comes? Not fight it, because fighting a thought only makes it louder. You work with it. 3 small moves. 1. Rename what's happening. This isn't proof you're a bad or embarrassing person. It's your brain running a protection routine. Say it plainly. This is my mind trying to keep me safe. That one sentence turns a verdict back into a false alarm. 2. Remember the empty room. Whatever you're cringing at, everyone else forgot it long ago. You are not being watched. Let that be your permission to stop watching too. 3. Instead of suppressing it, meet it with kindness. Talk to your past self the way you'd talk to a scared friend. You were doing your best with what you knew. Shame can't survive being met with compassion. That's how you finally close the case. You're not excusing what happened. You're just refusing to keep punishing a version of you that can't defend themselves anymore. So the next time it's 2 a.m. and your brain hands you that memory, go gently. It was never a punishment. It's just your mind, alone in the quiet, caring a little too hard about being loved. Thank it for trying to protect you. Remind it the room is empty, and let that younger version of you off the hook. They've been carrying it long enough. If your brain replays your past like this, then you already know it does something strange with your feelings too. Because the same brain that floods you with shame at night is the one that makes you cry when you're angry, not sad. That's the next one. I'll see you there.